The GOP field, it is filling up, but Trump and DeSantis are by far considered the top contenders. We know Trump's track record with the black community, but Governor DeSantis, he's taking it up a notch. DeSantis has waged war on communities of color, from book bans to his crusade against black history with his Stop Woke Act. DeSantis has shown that he is on a mission to erase black culture and black history. So here's the question. Between Trump and DeSantis, who is more dangerous for black people? Joining me to answer this question and have a spirited conversation is Raynard Jackson. He is a Republican political consultant. He's a lobbyist. He's also a radio host. He has served in presidential campaigns. He's worked with George H.W. Bush and George W. Bush. He also worked on Ron DeSantis' 2018 gubernatorial race, a successful campaign against Andrew Gillum. My brother, welcome to theGrio.
Thanks, Marc. Thanks for having me.
So who's the better candidate if you're looking at it from the perspective of black America, Donald Trump or Ron DeSantis, in your estimation?
Well, I think they are interesting contrast. Both of them are appealing and attractive to the black community, notwithstanding your opening comments. Number one, both of them are entrepreneurs, and isn't it amazing? I was a senior advisor of DeSantis' 2018 gubernatorial campaign in Florida against Andrew Gillum. And it was the black vote that got us over the hump because we won by, I think, 1 point, a tenth of a point in 2018. And the issues that resonated within the black community were entrepreneurship and school choice. We got a considerable amount of black male vote because of entrepreneurship and the Second Amendment. What got us over the hump with black female voters were the issue of school choice. And Trump happens to be good on those issues as well. Isn't it amazing that the Florida Chamber of Commerce had come out with a report 2 days ago that Florida is the best place for a black business owner to open up a business, and the Hispanic businessmen are second behind black. So obviously DeSantis is doing something right that appeals to the black community there in Florida.
You say he's appealing to the black community in Florida, and you said Trump as well is appealing to the black community. If we think that that's true, how do you account for Donald Trump's low popularity rate among black folk? I mean, he had a better rate than his predecessors in the Republican side, but you're still talking about 10%, 11% at best.
Well, yeah, Trump went from 8% in 2016 in the black vote to 12% in 2020. So a 25% increase. And to me, when I would go in to meet with the president and the White House staff.
Wait, hold on 1 second, Raynard. I'm trying to understand your point. You're saying that he's popular among black people, but 88% of black people don't want him.
That's not true. The problem with Republicans are not the policy. We have a damaged brand. And until we as a party rehabilitate the brand, we're going to continue to suffer, even though blacks, by and large, agree more with Republican policy, school choice and vouchers, entrepreneurship, lower taxes, less government regulation, a strong Africa. That resonates with the black community, but we do a horrible job of communicating with the black community, and that's what I've been working on for decades to get them better at that.
Okay, so I hear you. I want to go. Let's talk about some of those policies, but just for facts' sake, when I said you jumped from 8 to 12%, which is 50%, not 25%. That jump still means 88% of black people didn't support Donald Trump according to their voting pattern. And you said that's not true. That is factually true. You're simply saying why they didn't vote for him or why they didn't want him. But what I said was absolutely factual, that it was 88% of black people who did not vote for Donald Trump. Now, among men, it was a little bit higher, again, double digits, but still very, very low. The overwhelming majority of black people didn't want him. But let's talk about some of these policies. You said Africa. Is there Democratic policy that doesn't support Africa? You said
yes.
Sort of healthy schools. What are these? Don't seem like particularly Republican policies. Some that you're naming. Now, school choice, I'll give you, but the other ones don't seem like particularly Republican policies.
Well, okay, explain to me then, Mark, why is Florida rated the best place for blacks to open up business? Of all 50 states, Florida is rated number one right now under DeSantis. Under Donald Trump, got the lowest unemployment rate in the black community. And to me, I tell folks my degree, undergrad is in tax accounting, so I keep up with economic data.
I'm
The
sorry, you just say the
unemployment
largest
rate is
unemployment
not
rate?
the lowest.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I just didn't hear you. Okay.
Under
So,
Trump,
so,
the lowest.
so let me answer the question for you. So when you talk about pro-business policies, those are policies that certainly promote businesses, promote investment. You talked about lower taxes a moment ago. That also plays into this. The issue, though, is that for most black folk who aren't in a position to benefit from the type of tax cuts that Donald Trump supports, the type of tax cuts that Bush and Reagan supported, what ends up happening is the middle class, which gets hit with these tax policies, the working class and working poor who don't get enough relief from these policies, they don't get to benefit from the Trump and DeSantis stuff. It's the big business owners. It's the people who can afford to have companies and employees and such.
No,
so you're
not
right.
true,
You can
Mark,
be
not
business.
true.
You can be business friendly, but still be hell on poor people. Or you can be business friendly and not do enough for poor people. And so, yeah, I'm not disputing that people who own businesses might prefer a Republican over a Democrat. My point is, what about the everyday person? What about those policies? And that's a question
let's talk
that I'd love
about
to
that,
get your
Mark.
response to.
We have between 40 and 50 million illegals in the country right now. And you got ignorant folks in the black caucus here in DC, and I sit in meetings with these guys privately, and they want to give amnesty for illegals, 40 to 50 million. Mark, guess what? That negates all black folks in the U.S. There are 30 to 32 million black citizens here in the U.S. You want to legalize 40 to 50 million. That wipes out all the black folk right there with just the illegals in the country. We're not talking about
Okay, so
born and raised in
so we have to take a quick commercial break, and on the other side, you can explain to me how that talk about undocumented people has anything to do with the conversation we were just having about unemployment or taxes, and we'll clarify on the other end that it doesn't wipe out black people. Black people will still exist. I think what you mean is it cancels them out numerically, maybe. I want to get your response on the other side. I want to make sure you're heard clearly, but I just want to do this again for fact-checking sake, what we're talking about. Everybody stay right here. We got much more coming up on theGrio. Welcome back to theGrio. I've been talking to Raynard Jackson, Republican strategist, critic, organizer, campaign leader, about a range of issues related to Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis, and the rest of the Republican pack. Welcome back, my friend. One of the things that's been happening that has a lot of people outraged has been the Stop Woke Act and book bans and all of these apparent attacks on free speech and free thought. What do you make of the fact that Ron DeSantis has very vocally and publicly led the charge that's really taking place around the country in certain cities and states against history, against books, against ideas that they deem inappropriate?
Well, Mark, there you go again in the immortal word of Ronald Reagan against Jimmy Carter. That's nothing could be further from the truth. There's no such thing as a book ban. What Ron DeSantis did and actually said was queer history is not a part of black history. And most black folks agree with that. I don't want to hear about all this homosexual craziness. Let's talk about not only the civil rights movement, the Emancipation Proclamation with Lincoln, but let's talk about how there were plenty of blacks in America who did not experience slavery during a period of slavery back in the 1800s. And let's tell all of American history.
Let me pause you just because I want to give you some specific examples. You said that there's, first of all, the idea of homosexual foolishness. I mark as homophobic and reject outright as both an idea and as something that's welcome on the show. But in terms of this, the books that have been removed from libraries and removed from school curriculums, if a book is removed by a school curriculum, why is that not a ban? Because you said there's not a book ban. How is it not a book ban?
You as a parent have a right to go out to any bookstore and buy your kid whatever books you want that kid to read at home. But I do not want the school system.
No, but hold on. But that's not answering my question. But that's not the point. So they're banned from schools then, correct?
No.
Okay. So what would if books that are not allowed in school by law? is not a book ban, what would a book ban be? What's the difference between that and a book ban?
Okay, do you really want to expose these little kids to pornography, which is
No, that's not my question. I'm not going to allow you to avoid the question. What is a book ban? If you're saying a school board saying that a book is not allowed in school is not a book ban, because you said it's not true when I said that it's a book ban, then what is a book ban? Define book ban for me.
There are choices. You, at a school system, you can't buy every book on the market. So you have to pick and choose.
No.
And what the governor did.
That's not true. No, hold on. They're not picking and choosing. They're saying by law, schools are not allowed to have that book. They didn't say, we just didn't pick this book. They're saying that a book like, for example, The Bluest Eye or Beloved is not allowed in that school district. That is a ban. And if you're saying it's not a ban, which you are, then I'm not going to allow this conversation to continue unless you answer this question. What is a book ban? Define book ban for me.
Book ban is setting up the parameters under which a school system has a criteria they must meet in order to put a certain book in that particular school. Yes. So there are choices to be made.
So let's look. Down in Florida, hold on. I want to get your answer to this. I want to get your answer. So in Escambia County, there are books being taken off the shelf because of their content. So they are being banned. So again, we can disagree on whether they should be banned or not, but what I wasn't willing to allow you to do is suggest on national television that there was not a book ban going on, when even by your definition of book ban, this is precisely what's happening. Now so let's get to the content. Okay, the blue, for example, The Bluest Eye has been removed. Why is The Bluest Eye inappropriate for school? Tell me why.
I don't know anything about the book.
Okay, so let me ask you another one. The Nowhere Girls. Why is that okay to be kicked out of schools?
Don't know about that one either. I don't know where these books.
I'll give you one more. Lucky by Alice Sebold. Do you know about that one?
Nope.
Okay, so 3 of the primary books being banned that you said let me back up. You said that books are being banned for pornography, that the books are being banned because they're pornographic. I named the 3 of the primary books that have been banned, and you say you don't know anything about them. How do you feel comfortable saying that books are being banned for being pornographic when you, by your own admission, don't know anything about the books? Is it possible that you don't know enough about these books to make that determination?
No, Mark. Let's take a step backwards. Why would this legislation even necessary? Because you have books in these Florida schools where kids are giving each other in these books, and that's inappropriate.
Name one. Name one.
Mark, I don't read these books, so I don't know. I know during the legislative fight in the state assembly.
Hold on. Let me just so I'm clear. You said the books are pornographic. You said the books are pornographic, but then when I named the books, you don't know anything about them. Then you said you named a specific book where people are giving each other oral sex, and I said, what book? You said, I have no idea. So again, you have no facts. You're literally going by a rumor.
No.
What news? What news?
During the testimony.
What news? You said it's news coverage. What news?
Mark,
what news? What news coverage said this?
In Tallahassee.
Where?
No, in Tallahassee. When they were debating.
Where in Tallahassee?
On TV.
They have TV channels.
When they were having a debate in the legislature.
Tell me a channel. Okay, Raynard, hold on one second. Name the channel where they were factually reported journalists reported that students in schools are giving blowjobs. Tell me where. Name one. Just name the outlet. I'll track it down.
In books. No, in books.
Right, but I'm saying. What I'm saying, let me be clear for my audience. I'm saying what you're describing isn't true. And when I ask you to give me a source for your facts, you don't have one. You say you got it on TV. I say what TV channel, you say in Tallahassee. I say what channel in Tallahassee, you don't know. So what I'm saying is
Mark,
everything that you positioned as a fact is actually not true. It's just not true.
Mark, listen
you don't have
to me very carefully. If you go to and pull up the video, when the state legislature in Florida, in Tallahassee, were actually debating the laws you're talking about, they were holding up books on the House and the Senate floor. The governor had press conferences holding up these books. Well, you can't disagree with the facts, Mark. You may not like the facts, but you can't make up your own facts.
Okay, Raynard.
So the testimony on the House and Senate floor is not factual.
People, are you saying that everybody who testifies on the House? I'm going to answer your question now. Unless you're saying that every single person who's ever testified before a legislative body is telling the truth, then yes, then your question is not on its face logical. No, I'm saying yes, plenty of people say things that aren't true. They spread urban myths. They spread lies. And what I'm saying to you is, since you don't know the book, can't name a book, and you can't describe a book, I'm going to go on my own evidence and expertise on this. But let's move on just a little bit. The Stop Woke Act isn't about pornography. The Stop Woke Act doesn't even mention pornography. So how do you explain the fact that the Stop Woke Act will allow something to be banned from a classroom because it can make someone feel uncomfortable about their racial heritage? By that logic, I could not be able to talk about slavery at all if a white person's uncomfortable based on the Stop Woke Act.
Okay,
and that has nothing to do with pornography.
Question. The purpose of putting your kid into school is to learn reading, writing, arithmetic. All this indoctrination.
No, that's not true. That is not true. That is not true, actually. And if you look at the history of American schooling, that's never been the purpose of American education. Since the beginning of the common school movement with Horace Mann, it's always been about more than reading, writing, and arithmetic. That's why you had to say the Pledge of Allegiance going up to school. That's why you had to salute the flag going up in school, because it wasn't just about reading, writing, and arithmetic.
Marc,
that was about citizenship. So again, even by your own definition, what you're saying is historically inaccurate. And so all I'm asking you to do, I want you to come back because we're running out of time.
The reason we have the school system predicated on when that bell rings, you better be in your seat. Repetitive class. It was to indoctrinate these students and American citizens into the factory system. That's what our whole school system is predicated on.
Raynard. So what you said was school has always been about reading, writing, and arithmetic. And now what you're saying is school actually has also been about incorporating you into the capitalist economy. We agree, my brother. School's always been bigger than that.
But
the issue now is...
But you can't be a part of the assembly line if you can't read instructions.
I don't disagree that you should be able to read in school. This is what we call, audience, a straw man. He's now arguing as if I suggested that you shouldn't learn how to read in school. What I'm actually arguing is, what do you read in school? And a book like Beloved is not pornographic, yet it's been banned. And if I ask you, well, why should it be banned? You say, I don't know, I ain't never read it. So what I would suggest for you, my brother, is read the books that you're advocating banning. At least read the description of the book that you're advocating being banned. That way you can actually defend it with an informed assessment or analysis. But we don't need those books that I've never read. This is the GOP logic, right? I ain't read the book. I ain't seen the book. I don't know the book. I just know I don't want that damn book. We can't deal with this. This can't be the future of our political imagination. We got to do better, y'all. Anyway, Raynard Jackson's a great brother. I hope he comes back to the show because I want to keep talking to this brother and arguing with this brother for a long time to come. Everybody stay here. We got much more with theGrio coming up after this.